Stone has been very disciplined on the inside.
James Hughes made much of the fact that he has fought probably a better group of fighters. He was in against James McGirt, the former champ, Anthony Stevens, of course, among the bigger names that he has fought. So far, I don't think that Stone has anybody like that on his record.
And we saw Stevens in his next bout, how good he looked, and that just brought Hughes up to another level. Here he is slipping. Up he is.
Let's give Adrian Stone credit. He did not throw a punch after Hughes hit the ground. He was wide open to him. And you may say, well, big chips, the guy was on the ground, he's not supposed to. In boxing today, folks, it is more the norm to hit the guy when he's down than to not hit him. And it's also the norm for referees not to take points away from you or disqualify you. So I give Adrian Stone a lot of credit for being a sportsman. This is my pet peeve in boxing.
Well, there is a lot of that. Adrian Stone showed the good sportsmanship. It's something you never get rewarded for.
No, you really don't.
It's a nice gesture to do. It's the gentlemanly thing to do.
And we're rewarding him for it. Round two is history. Good round for Adrian Stone. And he punctuates it with a left hook to the head of James Hughes. We check into Hughes' corner.
Hey, you letting him back you up. You got to keep him. You got to keep him off of you with the jab. You got to keep him off of you. Listen to me. You got to keep him off of you with a good. You got to double the jab. You give him just a taste. All you did was let him get a taste to the right hand. You know what I mean? Hey.
Adrian Stone backing Hughes up with the left hook. Comes out of the crouch there and lands it very nicely, then comes over the top and covers up.
Good work by Adrian Stone. Let's listen in.
Boy, this is yours. This is yours.
Well, just a lot of confidence there in the corner of Adrian Stone. He's had two very good rounds. We head into round three, and James Hughes comes after him. Now, remember, James Hughes is the kind of gritty performer that never, ever, ever, ever gives up. And he says, I just beat guys on heart, determination, toughness, and guts. And that's a combination that does kind of describe James Hughes. So even though these early rounds have gone for Adrian Stone, don't write Hughes off.
He likes to come on strong later. And a double edge for Stone with the punches landed in this bout. And really superiority when you look at the numbers. It's borne out his performance. He's been very tight on the inside, punching very well, and hasn't got hit with counters.
James Hughes seldom, if ever, goes in as a favorite, but he has tonight. But so far, as your scorecard shows, he's had some problems.
The speed horse has gotten out of the gate here. Stone on the front end again. A good start for him. Performing very well so far.
You went well over an hour into the show without a racing analogy.
Well, we decided to give it a little rest in the open, and then we'll put it in here to tie it back with what we said earlier.
Less is more, right?
Right.
Almost halfway through round three. This one is scheduled for 12. Good hook by Stone. Boy, he has found a home for that left hook. Adrian Stone, the 23-year-old from Bristol, England, now living in Paterson, New Jersey. Showing us tonight, he may be ready to take a step up.
Extreme patience. He's really winning this fight thus far with his left hand. Jab out there in a timely fashion, able to time Hughes and make Hughes be a little bit off balance. Hughes doesn't mind this, though, because he tries to come on later and overpower his opponent. Adrian Stone showing a very educated jab.
Good right hand by Stone. Adrian Stone has so far fashioned a very good third round for himself. And there's the jab. He decisively won the battle of jabs in this bout.
And he is staying within his abilities here, not gambling anything, getting the left hand in, the jab, moving away, scoring is what's going to put points on the board for him right here.
Bring it up, bring it up.
Hughes with a nice combination.
Adrian Stone gambled a little bit. He tried to tie Hughes up and see how he could do on the inside. He landed a couple shots and was doing nicely, but coming out of it, Hughes landed some nice shots.
A bruise underneath the right eye of James Hughes. He often bruises during the course of his fight. That happened against Anthony Stevens. Good right again by Stone. So Adrian Stone has things going exactly as he planned this bout. See if Hughes can change things in round 4.
Sets up for Adrian Stone. He steps to the jab. That got blocked, but the right hand landed perfectly.
Very good example of why it's good to use the jab. We head into round 4 in this USBA welterweight championship match. James Hughes in the black trunks, and the white is Adrian Stone. And so far, Adrian Stone, the challenger, has had things pretty much his own way here.
We talked about him putting rounds in the bank in the beginning of the fight. He's managed to do that thus far. Doing it behind his jab, keeping some very good balance, and winning in extremely impressive fashion here. He's keeping a very good fighter down to 22%.
Stone mixing his attack using the jab, the body punching, the right hand, and there's the hook. Kind of a half uppercut.
This is where Hughes turned around the fight with Anthony Stevens.
Good right by James Hughes. Probably the best way to describe Stone is he's just very persistent, isn't he? He just keeps doing what he's supposed to do and until it will wear you down.
He doesn't open up too much, stays with the jab, keeps a nice crouch, gloves up when he's not about to punch, and tries to do it with the left hand. We're going to see Hughes try to overpower him now as the fight goes along and gets into it. Hughes will be the one to gamble more than Stone.
Well, he's probably going to have to because it would seem like Stone has put some rounds in the bank here. Halfway through round 4. Good body work there by Adrian Stone. Stone said that he watched the Hughes-Stevens fight. He said, you know, I found myself being a fan. I was just excited by it.
You don't see fighters saying that about other fighters very often. And that wasn't exciting.
It sure was. If you never saw it, James Hughes knocked Anthony Stevens down 4 times. Finally put him out in the 11th round. Amazingly, he was even on most of the score. Would have been an even fight.
It was a draw going into the final round.
Counter right by Hughes gets in, but it doesn't slow Stone up at all. Well, they've been billing this locally here as boxing at the Rock because of Rockingham Park. And if you had to pick a guy to win at the Rock, it would be Stone, wouldn't it?
Oh, you're right there with that.
Stone with an excellent right hand may have hurt James Hughes.
He did, sending him back with that shot.
And that's not an easy task. The hook is hurting him more than the right hand.
The hook is a precise shot. The right hand hurt him as well. Hook has been short from the inside.
So round 4, a big one for Stone. Can James Hughes recover?
Stone with the nice right hand, driving Hughes back. That shot hurt him. That set it up the left hand. Right hand coming behind it. And look how he stays balanced. That's the first time in the whole exchange he was open.
We head into round 5 as we're approaching the midway point of this fight. It is scheduled for 12. James Hughes' USBA welterweight title is on the line. So far, that crown is tilted a little bit because Adrian Stone, the challenger, has done an excellent job over the first 4 rounds.
Stone again looking to come in behind the jab of Hughes. It has been practically perfect technically thus far in the bout. Now Hughes wants to make it more of an inside battle. He swung wildly and missed with the left hook, and he's taking some chances now. Stone with a big edge, and the punches landed, and what they cannot reveal is the severity of a few of those shots at the end of the round.
Especially at the end of the 4th. There's the hook again by Stone. He is just landing that punch maybe more than you would have anticipated in this bout.
Short, it's on the inside. And when you make a subtle little step on the inside, you can create quite a bit of opening there. Stone has been able to do that.
Hughes landing a little short right hand. James Hughes has had a habit of pushing his punches in the past, and I think it's even more pronounced tonight.
And Stone is off to the blazing start, doing just about everything right here.
Halfway through round 5. Good body work by Adrian Stone, and that's something else he's thrown in tonight.
Well, there is a long way to go in this fight, but the early impression is that if Stone does not run out of gas, it's his night. He's off to quite a nice start. He has Hughes missing a little bit. Hughes will need to get inside.
Joined us late. Bones Adams and Edwin Santana fought to a draw in our first fight. It was a fight in which Adams hurt his left hand, apparently, about midpoint of the fight. But Edwin Santana, let's give him credit, he fought very well and eked out a draw. Good right by Adrian Stone. This is a much more one-sided fight than I ever would have imagined it would be.
The USBA champion comes in here, and he's getting hit with shots that are more powerful than Stevens hit Hughes with, and that's going to affect the way Hughes has his fight in front of him here.
James Hughes has a great chin, and he's a tough guy, but boy, he has taken some shots from Adrian Stone.